You bet it does. Welcome into Thursday's edition of The Big Show on your Total Sports Station, KTGR. Andy Humphrey and Brenden Schaefer here. As we get set for more football this weekend, we get set for basketball tonight, we get set for fantasy football over the next few days. Play, Fade, Eliminate coming your way at 525. Over-unders for Mizzou, Oklahoma, and Chiefs Colts coming up. We have a guest joining us, Cody Goodwin, who's going to be making his Big Show debut today. How about that? Excited
right
for it. PowerMizzou.com.
Yeah.
Doing an excellent job, by the way, covering Mizzou this year. First year on the beat. It's been great to read his work. So we'll talk with him at 425 about all things Mizzou football. And, yeah, Brenden, it's just starting to be one of those weekends once again where it gets very serious on the football end.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a lot going on. There's plenty going on the field. There's plenty that will continue to go on off the field, and we'll just be drinking through the fire hose, taking in all of it, I imagine.
Yeah, that's for sure. So call or text us with what you think about this weekend. Give us your over-unders for Chiefs Colts and Mizzou, Oklahoma, 875-KTGR here on The Big Show. You can see us now live on YouTube, youtube.com/@KTGR Sports, as well as on Facebook, facebook.com/KTGR Big Show.
Now, The Big Show's Big Deal.
Bo Pribula listed as doubtful on the SEC availability report that was released last night. There will be another update tonight, another one tomorrow night, and another one at 9:30 Saturday morning before the 11 a.m. kickoff. We'll see if the Tigers can get their first-string quarterback back on the field 4 weeks after he dislocated his ankle. But again, the report said there was early optimism this week that he could play. Eli Drinkwitz didn't give much as far as his status other than, well, availability reports and Pete Thamel and Matt Zennett's tweets. So we'll await those. Right now, the first inkling is doubtful from that availability report as Mizzou takes on Oklahoma, looking for their first win in Norman since 1966. 11 a.m. kickoff right here on KTGR on Saturday. That is the Big Show's Big Deal on this 20th day of November, 2025. Call or text us here at 573-875-KTGR. Are you surprised, Brenden, by the listing of doubtful? Because I'm not.
I'm not surprised by it based on the way Drink spoke Tuesday. I was hopeful that he might be questionable because that would seem to be like really positive news. But I think there's still a chance that tonight or even Friday, he's upgraded to questionable. And if that happens, I think it'll probably accompany a tweet from somebody, one of those two dudes, that gives you like a little positive nugget on what could be maybe coming down to a game time decision. Like if this leads up, Andy, to he's going to get out there on the field Saturday morning and see how it feels type of thing, I would count that as a huge win.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Last week, they didn't rule him out until Saturday, but we didn't hear anything about him, right? Like there were no tweets from people that were suggesting that he might be able to play. So I guess if you're comparing it to last week, for it to go into Saturday would probably be the expectation, right? Like even if it's doubtful on Thursday, Friday,
yeah,
that would still suggest the potential to be upgraded on Saturday. But the fact that we're getting tweets about it this week is at least a step in the right direction, as stupid as that sounds. That's, I think, legitimate analysis based on the way these things tend to go.
We always wait for the tweets when it comes to that. But I'm not too sure that I'm optimistic about him playing in this game.
I'm not either. No.
As far as that. So like doubtful wouldn't have surprised me, obviously. I don't read it as the doubtful, the Brady Cook doubtful from last year, which
you think it's a doubtful?
No, I think it's an actually doubtful. This might be a little bit different here.
I think there's like can there be a doubtful in between the two levels of doubtful where like there's legit doubtful, there's Brady Cook doubtful
1, doubtful 2, doubtul 7.
Yeah, we're going to start treating them like hamstring strains. I think this is a doubtful 2 on the doubtful scale.
Yeah, I mean, seems right.
Because I think normally with a player, again, and I have a hard time shaking the comparison to pro football, because if a player is doubtful in pro football, that pretty much just means he's not going to play.
Yeah.
And the tweets accompanying like an Adam Schefter with a doubtful tag on a player would tweet out unlikely to play, right? But in this case,
but we don't get doubtful officially until like Friday most of the time.
For NFL.
Yeah, for NFL. Yeah. We only get one tag. Here, we're getting updated tags throughout each and every day.
That's a good point. And so by that point, you're 2 days away from, but I mean, by tonight, you're 2 days away from what a college football schedule would be, playing on Saturday.
Yeah.
And we're getting, at least we did earlier in the week, the positive tweet from Matt Zenitz, which is just like there's some optimism that he might be able to play. So I would say that this is still more than, when I think doubtful, more than your standard doubtful, because there's outside noise suggesting that there could be something afoot here. Tonight, there could be nothing that dissuades me from still holding out hope unless he's ruled out on tonight's report. And even a doubtful on Friday, I don't think would tell me 0%. But let's say that at the moment, Andy, I am a 30% chance that Bo is going to be the starter. If it's doubtful tonight, I might keep it at 30. If it's doubtful tomorrow, I'll go down to like a 10 to 15% chance.
Okay.
But even a doubtful Friday night, I'll still be holding out that 10 to 15%. If it accompanies a tweet, I'm going to go up to like 50%. If it accompanies, like, you like this new math? If there's a tweet from one of those two guys,
then you must
or
raise
Zenitz,
it by 30%.
If there's a tweet that says, hey, he's going to at least warm up and see how it feels, even with a doubtful tag, I'll be at least back to like a 30% again. So it took you on a wild ride there. But basically, I'm saying they haven't ruled him out, and it feels like there's momentum toward him potentially playing. So I'm going to hold out hope. But if you ask me in this moment who's likely taking this first snap, I might put my money on Zollers.
I think so,
unfortunately. Which, I mean, go Matt, go. But I'd like to see Bo Pribula because I think he gives us a better chance.
Well, yeah, like I would say that if he is healthy, if he is deemed healthy enough to go, then you're not going to like a 2-quarterback system here. Eli Drinkwitz made that pretty clear that Bo's the starter if he is healthy enough to go. So, like, if we just said over under half a snap for Bo Pribula, I'm maybe
70% sure that the answer is under.
Yeah, exactly. I think I'm under on that as well.
But I would, let me say it this way though. If those were the odds, right? December 1st, Missouri sports betting legalized. If the odds reflected a 70% chance he wasn't going to play, I would place my wager on the 30% chance that he does, because I think there's a lot of upside in that option right now, even though I could lose my $10, but I'm still holding out that hope. So,
hey, it's what you got to do at this time of year, I suppose. And especially when you go up against this type of opponent, like it's based off of hope. Like Mizzou has shown that it can stay in games like this. It has not shown that it can win games like this.
Yep.
And look, with Matt Zollers in there, a quarterback, it's going to be even more difficult, you would think.
Because of how good that defense and that pass rush is so capable of being.
Good, man.
I'm not trying to dog on Matt Zollers, but like he's a true freshman who didn't play his senior year of high school football. He's inexperienced. And it's not that Bo had all this experience coming in, but he had spent a couple of years in a college system and at least was on the field for various packages at Penn State last year. So he got experience relative to Matt Zollers just being thrown into the fire. Like, I'm not going to make any determinations about his future based on what we're seeing, because most of the time kids are allowed to have their true freshman year as just a pure never see the field kind of guy. And that's not the case here. So I'm not making a declaration about his future with this, but I do think that Bo gives you the best chance. And I still would worry, Andy, that like, okay, he's 100% healthy, but he's not going to be as mobile as he was when he was Bo Pribula before the injury. Like there can be room for all that to be true. And that could be a problem as well, because his pocket presence wasn't particularly strong. So I'm not saying that, suddenly Bo plays and it's like, we're going to roll these guys. I'm concerned about this game regardless, but the point spread says 7.5, whatever it says. And that suggests, man, there's a belief somewhere that this could be a competitive 1-score type of game. And maybe Missouri does enough defensively to end in the run game to get on the other side of that. But I think that's really, as you talk over under, is the question. It's like, rushing yardage for Hardy is going to be, I think, a humongous factor in this.
Because they're going to try to give him the ball, and they have to give it to him pretty often to establish what they want to do. But how quickly does Oklahoma take them out of that?
Yeah.
With how well they are able to stop the run. They are number 4 in the country in stopping the run this year. They allow less than 2.5 yards per carry.
So if you go first down, it's 2nd and 8 after a first down run.
Right, yeah.
You do it again, it's 3rd and 7.
3rd and 6, 3rd and 5, maybe, if you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
If you're 3rd and 4 and you're anywhere near sniffing midfield, I'm running it again. Like, I'm going to go down with the ship on Ahmad Hardy. And I'm going to mention Jamal Roberts' name as well, because Hardy was the guy in the Mississippi State game. But I think Roberts could have racked up 200 yards in that game if they wanted him to.
Yeah.
Like, they just decided at a certain point that Hardy kept breaking them all, and it was like, maybe we could get you to a school record here. And so I think that played into it a little bit. Roberts as the Energizer Bunny, because the first guy wears you down and the second guy punishes you as well. Roberts could be a factor in this, but again, like you said, Andy, if they're allowing 2.5 yards per tote, at what point are you able to, knife through on that and start to, if Mizzou's churning out 4 yards, 5 yards on the ground every first down, that might be first down yardage, first down success, to me, might be the biggest determining factor in whether they can win this game. Because if you go 1st and 10 run for 6, well, now you can do anything.
Yeah.
And
it's
that
like
can
50%
be the way
on first down is your success that you're trying to get to.
They've got to be great on first down, and that means Ahmad Hardy's got to be great. And I just against
so
this
here's
defense,
the thing, I don't know what his number is, but I would imagine that they give him a lower bar to clear than most games, because Oklahoma as a team only gives up about 80 rushing yards per game.
Yeah.
I would set it at 65.5.
Okay, so let's do a little bit of math here, because I'm still looking to see if any places, sports books, have individual rushing yards. Ever since that NBA prop stuff, it seems like we're a little bit harder to find real rushing yardage type of props for college football. I'm not saying that's good, bad, or indifferent. I'm just saying that that's why we're dealing with this on a Thursday more than we would be, I think, otherwise. 65.5 is what you would have as Hardy's. Would you care to venture a number on Jamal Roberts, just so I can see
lower,
how close you might be to, because I do have team rushing for Mizzou, but I want to see how close you can get to building it out.
For Roberts, I would maybe say 29.5.
Okay, so you're really only thinking about a 9,500 yards combined between the two of them. If Pribula is your quarterback, there could be some rushing baked in there. If Zollers he's not going to run for any yards, I wouldn't think. Maybe there's a scramble, but it'll probably be offset by sacks. What would you tell me about Missouri's chances to win the football game, or what Vegas may think of it, Andy, if I told you that Missouri's team rushing total is set at 155.5 yards?
Wow. Whoa.
That suggests, and again, doesn't mean they're going to get that number, but it suggests enough respect for this run game.
They will get enough that would be enough to stay in this game all throughout. Right?
And the thing of it is, and you might say, well, Brenden, Andy, there's no guarantee Missouri gets 155 rushing yards. No. But if we were so darn confident, and if the public was so darn confident that they wouldn't, then they would bet the under every single time, and that number would come down. I'm just telling you, it's sitting at 155.
There's discrepancies there with how you could, in your jurisdiction of legality, place a bet based on A, how you think Mizzou is going to stay in this game, and B, what ultimately that means for the rushing total. Because that lends a lot of credence to Mizzou keeping this close within a touchdown.
They're going to have some rushing success is the belief of where that line is set.
Right.
And I agree with you. I wouldn't have said maybe quite so low for Hardy, but I might have said 79.5. And I might have said and look, maybe tomorrow I'll be able to update you if there's any that comes out. For Roberts, I might have said, 34.5. But even that would only get you to about 110 or so. The fact that this is 155.5, and again, they might not get there. They might get completely stuffed. But if that's true, and if it was widely believed that that is the expectation, there would be enough people betting under on that the jurisdiction of legality place, I'm going to start calling, that's a long way to say sportsbook,
right.
They would lower that number. And that hasn't happened yet, right? And so
because that's a lot of respect there.
It's a lot of respect.
If they think that that's a number that Mizzou could theoretically get to as a rushing total, then I'd say go and take the 7.5.
That's
more so than the rushing
I don't
total.
know if you can. I was gonna say I don't know if you can parlay the two.
Right, but no, I'm not saying that.
but-
I'm just saying that if Vegas thinks that that's a requisite number that Mizzou can get to rushing wise, then to me,
suggests
they
a
have
lot
stayed
about the
within a
game.
touchdown in this game, if you ask me.
And by the way, because I can now access everything, there's a little note at the top that says betting will be available on December 1st. But you can go into these various sites and you can look at what would be possible to bet on without doing so. It does appear it would let me parlay those two. It would be for plus 154. So this is, now that gambling's coming, I can get a little bit into the lingo. A lot of times, if you were to do a two event parlay, it would be more like a plus 260. You'd bet $10, and if it wins, you'd win $26.
Yeah.
This would tell you bet 10 to win about $15, which suggests these two events are likely tied to one another, and so we're not going to give you as great of a bonus on the possibility of it. But that matches what you and I are saying, Andy. We don't care about it from the betting standpoint. We're talking about it from, hey, there's a suggestion here that if Missouri is able to do this on the rushing side, they can keep this football game close. And that is exactly how I feel as well. The question is, would you take over or under on that 155.5?
See, I would take under
rushing yards.
That's kind of what I'm thinking is under.
That's a suggestion of,
and it wouldn't even mean that they ran the
about.
ball all that terribly if they're under that number. I just think that's a lot of respect to what Mizzou's rushing attack could be.
It's so hard to really gauge it. You can look at recent results for OU. Daniel Hill. It's been a weird year for Jam Miller. Jam Miller might have only been healthy for our game. I don't know.
I think that's it. Yeah.
That kid, that's the only game that he put up numbers.
He did get hurt in that game eventually.
He did. He had some good runs, though, as I recall. Daniel Hill has been kind of the goal line back, but he took 15 carries for 60 yards and 2 touchdowns against Oklahoma last week. Jam Miller was 9 for 27. And then there was, Ty Simpson getting sacked. One other guy took a carry. It's like, they held Alabama's rushing attack under 100. That's okay. A lot of people probably have done that because it just has not been a great year for Jam Miller as consistently. But Tennessee, I'm just going to read you 3.2, 3.0, 2.5, 0.5. Those are the yards per carry from the Tennessee backfield in that game. It's a lot of guys, Andy, and it looks like it's just pretty much the case mostly every week. Even Quan Lacey. I mean, we know Quan Lacey around here. 27 carries for 78 yards and 2 touchdowns in the Ole Miss game, which Ole Miss did beat Oklahoma, but that was a 2.9 yards per carry. Is the question maybe more about Hardy and how many yards per carry he can put together? Because if we're talking about first down success, that's going to weigh in pretty heavily. If he's getting at least 3 or 4 rather than getting stopped at the line to bring down that total, that's another number that I think could end up being in Missouri's favor. You won't find this in a sports book, but I'm curious, where would we set the line?
I would set it at 3.5.
3.5, and just for the record, Ahmad Hardy's averaging 6.8 yards per carry on the season. He was 12.0 in the Mississippi State game. He averaged 8.4 against A&M. Is there the potential that he breaks one against this OU defense? Because that would obviously zoom up the yards per carry. That
brings up the total quite a bit. You're right.
I don't know how often that's happened against OU. I'd have to do more research to know if anybody's really housed one against them from 60. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's possible that he does it, but that's the only way I think that it gets over, because I think for the most part, they'll find ways to contain him.
And that was the Auburn game, right? That was the Alabama game where the yards per carry
go of it
against Bama was 4.3. Against Auburn, though, it was 2.4.
Yeah.
He carried it 24 times. They gave him the rock, but only 58 yards because of how many times they were stopped at the line or stopped behind the line because he was being consistently hit behind the line. So that would be, if you're setting at 3.5, where would you go? Knowing that this guy, he is a tackle breaker. He can defy the odds against this defense. Are you taking over on that 3.5?
I don't think so.
I'm doing it. I'll tell you right now. Yeah, I think he can. Now, I'm not saying that means you win the game or that we get 155 rushing yards as a team, but if he gets the ball 20 times, and I think he will, his rushing attempts would be the number that if I had a way to bet on it, I would be like, come hell or high water, this guy's getting the football. If he goes 24-80 and averages 4 yards a tote, I don't think Mizzou wins the game, but I think he's more than capable of doing that.
Yeah.
And then Roberts can chip in 40 or 50. You're still under on that team number.
That's a good foundation to build from, though. And if Bo Pribula's quarterback, like you have a better chance of throwing the football and having some sort of balance in your attack.
Or maybe Zollers, the problem is going to be, again, that pass rush.
It's tough.
And I think, are they getting our Mason Thomas back? Do we know about that? I think his status was trending in a good direction. And that, to me, is significant.
And see what that says there. But I don't remember seeing him on the last one.
Yeah, he is. He was questionable. Okay, he was questionable as of last night.
Yeah.
That's the first one. So I don't know what he was the previous week. He didn't play, though, the last couple of weeks. I believe he had like the big strip sack touchdown run and maybe got injured. He did do you know when they talk about the Greg Jennings play, but it's from like an old episode, an old Madden clip where this guy's like, he put the team on his back, Greg Jennings. And so it kind of looked like that in real life, but he's a game wrecker in the backfield, to the point where I think Drink was asked about him and said, great play, whatever. But then he goes, number 44 that's been filling in does a good job as well. Didn't say his name though. He just said his number. So our Mason Thomas would be a problem for Matt Zollers. Otherwise, though, what if he's not ready to come back? They've given up 344 yards per game through the air in the last three.
Yeah.
You're talking about Alabama, Ole Miss, and Tennessee. So, those are all pass offenses that are great, and Missouri's is very bad. So, Missouri's not going to elevate to that level, but it's not as though nobody has been able to do it against them. So, that's another thought on that.
It is interesting what recently has been a little bit off from Oklahoma's passing defense.
I think it's just who they're facing is
maybe so
possibly the problem, right?
It's possible that it comes back down, but maybe if Bo Pribula is out there, things can change. We shall see. Give us your over-unders that you want us to weigh in on for Mizzou, Oklahoma. 573-875-KTGR here on The Big Show as we roll along here. We'll talk Chiefs Colts over-unders at 5:05. But up next, we'll keep the Mizzou conversation going with Cody Goodwin, Mizzou football beat writer for PowerMizzou.com. He'll join us next as we talk about Mizzou, Oklahoma this weekend here on The Big Show.
The Big Show with Andy and Brenden continues next on your total sports station, KTGR.
Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Free-for-all RV Road Warriors, your best blast of Branson just turned into a bad day bummer. You ran out of gas, blew a tire, killed your battery, are sitting sideways in a ditch, and managed to lock yourselves out. Ouch. Hey, it could happen. And for the save, you call I-70 Towing. They're Mid-Missouri's go-to crew for roadside assistance, too. Fuel, tires, batteries, locks, winching, you name it. When your world seems to have been wrecked, call the team they hope you never have to meet. I-70towing.com. Now serving Boonville. Winching.
Welcome to Macadoodles.
Macadoodles does game day like nobody else. Whether you're tailgating or hosting a watch party, Macadoodles has you covered. With more than 3,200 wine labels, 1,500 spirits, and 600 craft and imported beers, and delivery right to your tailgate or doorstep, the days of making a beer run are over. Macadoodles delivers, providing unmatched selection at unbeatable prices. Drive through today or come inside and experience our world-class customer service. Who does game day like nobody else? Macadoodles does.
I'm Michael Agnew with API Project Fitness. At API, we're dedicated to helping you reach your fitness goals with workouts that are motivating, challenging, and effective. Our group classes are high energy and designed to maximize your time with efficient movements and smooth flow. There are real results here to find, whether you're just starting out or ready to push it to the next level. API is where hard work meets progress. Everyone needs a fitness routine. Let us be yours. Sign up today for a free trial at apiprojectfitness.com.
KTGR and MU Healthcare Sports Medicine are highlighting a local athlete each week. It's the KTGR Athlete Spotlight.
This week features Rockbridge senior swimmer Ryan Koffenauer, who took home the state championship in the 100-yard breaststroke with a time of 55 seconds flat. This was Koffenauer's third top 4 state finish in the event.
That's the KTGR Athlete Spotlight, thanks to MU Healthcare Sports Medicine, providing everything athletes need to be and stay at their best, because they're competitors too.
Save big money when you insulate your home with Knauf fiberglass insulation from Menards.
products. From cut-to-length rolls to pre-cut bats and blown-in insulation. Menards has everything you need to add comfort and energy savings to your home. Plus, you can save even more with federal tax credits on qualifying energy-efficient upgrades ending soon. Check out our weekly flyer on menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
The warm scent of maple spiced coffee fills the air. And is that a hint of Caribbean rum? That must be Caldy's Coffee Highlander Grog Brewing, our decadent maple spiced blend that's won fans nationwide. Loved for how it smells and for how it makes you feel. Each cup brings back the comfort of a classic coffee morning. Cozy, nostalgic, maple spiced coffee. Shop Caldy'sCoffee.com for your bag today. Also available in pods.
My name is Josh Arnold, and I've been working at Zimmer Communications for over 5 years. When I first started at Zimmer, I was really impressed at all of the resources that they have available to you to succeed. I started at this job right out of college. I think I learned more here my first 3 to 6 months than I did in all of my time in my schooling at college. Working at Zimmer Communications, you really feel like you're part of a team. You don't feel like you're pitted against one another. It's a really fun atmosphere that allows me to excel in my job.
If you're up for the challenge, apply now at ZimmerCommunications.com.
Back to more of the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. You've got The Big Show on the KTGR app.
You can text in over-unders to us, 875-KTGR. This one might feel a little mean, but it has been true the last couple of games. Adam texting in, which one is over, Hardy rushing yards or total passing yards for Mizzou? It has been Hardy rushing yards the last couple of games.
I don't know if that's mean.
I just think that Oklahoma's defense, we were talking, much better against the run than they have been lately against the pass. And so,
yeah, if you had asked me that question heading into Mississippi State, I would have taken Hardy rushing yards minus 100. Obviously easy to say now that it's over, but we talked that way all week that they're just going to run the rock. But obviously this defense on the ground a little bit different.
We shall see how it goes. Here on The Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. Call or text us at 875-KTGR. But let's talk some more Mizzou with Cody Goodwin of PowerMizzou.com. Covers all things Tigers over there on the football field. First year on the beat for him as well. Follow him on Twitter at Cody J. Goodwin. And Cody, thanks for coming on for your Big Show debut. And you picked one hell of a year for your first year covering Mizzou football, got to say.
I feel like I need to open by giving you guys a little bit of trouble. I've been in town for a few months now. I've been covering this team all season long. Like, why are we just now getting on the Big Show, man? There's 2 games left in the regular season.
This is what we do to ourselves here. We will honk the horn on ourselves. This is that's to us, not to you for that. But better late than never. We appreciate you having you on. Been looking forward to it for sure. Look, leading into this week, it's obviously will he, won't he? Will it be Bo Pribula? Will it still be Matt Zowers? A little bit. I mean, the doubtful tag still lends a lot to maybe it not being Bo Pribula this week, but we always know that there's that possibility. How do you kind of view the talk around his status, what it could mean, and how you kind of view his status for this game?
Yeah, I think the last week it was a little bit, at least the way I took it, a little bit more gamesmanship, right? Just, trying to maybe mess with Mississippi State a little bit. Like, is he going to be ready to play? This is somebody you're probably going to have to prepare for, right? You're going to have to take a few hours out of the week to be ready for Bo potentially. I think there could be some of that in play here this week. And I guess it's interesting because when we talked to Drink on Tuesday, he was very much like, hey, like he's kind of rapidly progressing toward a return potentially. And, like a lot of us saw him out warming up last Saturday before the Mississippi State game. And, again, he was practicing against air, right? But he was running sprints. They put him through like a 30 or 35 play type thing on the field. He was working with coaches, again, against air, but he looked pretty good, right? Like the ankle didn't look like it was bothering him too much. He was throwing the ball, like just things, we're all kind of looking at each other in the press box. Like, is this guy going to maybe give it a go? Right. And then obviously ruled out. I did think it was interesting that he was listed as doubtful on the first availability report. We'll see what it says later tonight, but maybe my guess was that he was going to be questionable all week and then a game time decision, like one of those things where, again, gamesmanship, like Drink just kind of messing with Oklahoma a little bit. But I don't know. The doubtful tag is interesting because I believe it was last year Brady Cook at one point in the season was listed as doubtful, ended up playing in the game. So like that's something we also have to keep in mind when it comes to Drink and his decision making at times.
And that was one, Cody, where like from the beginning of the week, we were thinking that they could be playing those games, and it ended up being exactly that. And so that's why we're all kind of holding out that hope. I guess the question would be, what changes for Missouri in your mind? Because obviously Oklahoma's run D is going to be the talk of the week, top 5 in the country. This team goes on Ahmad Hardy. If it's Bo versus Zollers, how does that change the way that you think Missouri could try to attack? Because it would seem that run the ball and do it stubbornly kind of has to be the choice either way, but that's easier said than done against the Sooners.
Yeah, it seems like when it comes to actually throwing the ball, they pull from different pages of the playbook, whether it's Bo or Zollers, right? I think we've seen over the last few weeks, Zollers' arm talent, really hard to hide that thing, right? Like that dude is not afraid to stand in the pocket. He's not afraid to take some hits. He's really comfortable letting it fly downfield. He still, I think, needs some reps and experience, and that's where, it'll be kind of interesting to maybe lean on that, or if Missouri decides to lean on that coming up against Oklahoma, because, yeah, I agree with you. They probably need to be stubborn about leaning on the run, but you're also going up against, one of the best run defenses in the country. They've only given up, I think, one 100-yard rusher Oklahoma's defense has all season long, and it was way early in the year against Michigan's Justice Haynes. So that's a challenge. So if you're going to have to drop back and throw the ball, yes, the arm talent is there, but we've also seen Zollers hasn't necessarily connected on a ton of those deep balls. He's hit a few of them, but maybe not enough to inspire confidence that they'll be able to move the ball consistently. And so with Zollers, you're going to throw the deep ball. With Bo, if he's able to play, it's different pages of the playbook, right? So like they're able to kind of get him in motion. They're able to get him on some of those rollouts. The threat of him running the ball is a different added element that Zollers doesn't necessarily have. So they may not have the downfield passing options with Bo as much, but you are able to get him on the run, get the pocket moving a little bit. And so if you're able to do that, that kind of it heightens the chances, I think, of putting Oklahoma's front seven in conflict. It forces the secondary to continue to cover if Bo holds the ball and looks, further into his progression, potentially takes off running. So I think the other thing too is like Bo doesn't have a ton of experience as a starter, but he has a little bit more than Matt Zollers. And in a big game like this, that's pretty valuable, I would think, especially on the road against one of the best defenses in the country. So it's kind of it's a little bit of a pick your poison. Like, do you want to drop back and chuck the ball down the field most of the game, or do you want Bo to kind of roll out? And when you do that, you're risking him taking hits against a really aggressive defense too. So there's pros and cons, I think, to both guys at quarterback.
Cody Goodwin at PowerMizzou.com here on the Big Show KTGR and the KTGR app. With Zollers in particular, with him still having a high chance of being the guy again this weekend, just when you've watched him these last couple games, Cody, in the starting formats, taking everything into context, right? Lost pretty much his whole senior season. This is his first few starts, and it starts with SEC play. With all of that into context, how have you kind of evaluated the start for his college career, it would seem?
Yeah, he looks like a 19-year-old true freshman quarterback playing SEC defenses, right? And so, not everybody's going to be a 5-star blue chip guy that's going to step in and make an impact right away. And I've seen a lot of good things on tape. Like, I don't want this to be like, Zollers is really struggling. He has struggled, but he's also, there's some stuff that you see on tape or when you watch those games where you kind of sit up in your seat a little bit and it's like, okay, I see the talent. I see why Drinkwitz is like, this guy is the future of the program. Like he had, I think it was his first intentional grounding call against Mississippi State. The rush is in his face. He threw the ball off his back foot from the far hash all the way to the cheerleaders out of bounds. And it's just like that's some insane arm talent that just not a lot of 19-year-old freshman quarterbacks have at the college level. And so I think what he needs is just reps, and he needs experience, and he needs to work on the deep ball chemistry with Donovan and some of the other receivers. He also, I think at times, sometimes I think he leans on his arm talent a little too much. And when you've got it, I understand, right? Like you want to chuck the ball downfield because you can and not a lot of people can. At the same time, he sometimes passes up some of the easier button throws for those deep shots. And so I'd like for them to maybe coach him a little bit on, hey, man, you don't need to chuck it 20 yards down the field all the time. Brett Norfleet's open in the flat for 7 yards. Take the 7 yards, right? Or your check down, Jamal Roberts or Ahmad Hardy is right there. Take the free grass, right? And so that just comes with time and experience. And I'm of the belief that he'll get it and he'll coach him. They'll coach him to do those things. But right now it's, obviously the game plan against Texas A&M was let it rip, right? So he missed a lot of those, I would refer to as gimme or layup throws against A&M. But when the game plan is clearly, let's chuck it down the field and see if we can hit on some big plays to loosen up the defense a little bit, I understand why maybe he passed those up. I think over time, whether it's the last 2 games this year plus a bowl game or really next year if he's still the starter, I would like to see him hit some of those easy button throws a little bit more, because you continue to do that, the defense starts creeping up, and then the big shots become available, right? So that's just something that comes with time and experience. But I think the talent, the arm talent especially, it's there. Like, it's very, very blatantly obvious that he's got a strong arm. And so now it's just a matter of managing the game, learning when to take the deep shots, learning when to take the gimmies, and just, becoming a more complete quarterback. And that's just going to come with time and experience.
A lot of great analysis there, and we've talked a lot about the Mizzou offense. I want to ask you, though, Cody, about the challenge for the defense against John Mateer and the Oklahoma offense, because it feels like if Missouri's going to have a path in this game, it has to be kind of that ugly rock fight to be able to get it done. How does Missouri get Oklahoma into that rock fight by limiting what the Sooners can do offensively?
Yeah, it seems like for better or for worse, Oklahoma's offense runs through John Mateer, which is fun. Like, the few times that I've seen him play, like he reminds me a little bit of like Johnny Knoxville at quarterback. Like, hi, I'm Johnny Mateer. Welcome to, the deal. And so, like, that can be good and bad, right? Because sometimes he hits on these monster plays and it just changes the trajectory of Oklahoma's offense, and they're able to, rattle off 300, 400 yards of offense. They're able to find the end zone quite a bit. Other times it's like, okay, like, he's mistake prone. Sometimes he presses a little too much. And so I think for Missouri's defense, what gives me confidence that they could potentially turn this into a rock fight is that they've done really well with quarterbacks that are mobile, that can create off platform, that maybe thrive in that chaos environment a little bit. Like, think of, Jalen Daniels hit on a couple of big plays in the Kansas game, but was really a non-factor with his legs. Same thing with Lenore Sellers of South Carolina. Ty Simpson's more of a drop back pocket passer, but he can run a little bit. And, but the defense held him to his season low in passing yardage of only 200 yards. Diego Pavia was pretty much a non-factor, and he's the chaos agent of all chaos agents in college football. So I think Missouri's defense is well equipped and well prepared, I think, to face a John Mateer and this Oklahoma offense. So, because Oklahoma, the other thing that I think is really working in Missouri's favor is that Oklahoma's offensive line, they've struggled quite a bit. They've gone through a number offensive line combinations. And so now you've got Zion Young and Damon Wilson and Darius Smith coming into town. Chris McClellan's obviously had a lot of success rushing the passer up the middle as well. And so that could wreak a lot of havoc, or Mizzou could wreak a lot of havoc that way as well. So you're going to have, Josiah Trotter back stopping the run. Oklahoma's run offense really hasn't been, I guess we'll say, dangerous this season. Like, hasn't really been much of a threat in the way that it has been in years past. So if you can just find a way to maybe frustrate Mateer a little bit, if you can find a way to contain him on the ground, and you can find a way to make him press a little bit, he will offer up opportunities, I suppose, for the defense. So then it's just a matter of, one, Mizzou capitalizing on those opportunities, and two, turning them into points on the other end. And so that's really the challenge. And I think the other thing too for the defense, they can only do so much for so long. I think we saw in that Texas A&M game where if the offense is not able to maybe hold up their end of the bargain, the defense at some point is going to run out of gas. And so it's that's kind of the part of the equation there. It's like, the defense has shown time and again that they're going to come ready to play. Can the offense help them out a little bit by moving the ball consistently? Can they get into scoring position? And if they can't, at some point, Mateer and the offense is probably going to connect on some plays. They're going to find a rhythm and they're going to move the ball. But if the offense can give Mizzou's defense a little bit of help, we could be in for a 4-quarter rock fight on Saturday.
And how do they manage the aspect of be aggressive? Like, they're very aggressive in the Mississippi State game with avoid the targetings, because you mentioned, like, not having a Trotter for 3/4 of a game this week, it would be a problem.
Yeah. And especially, Trotter's the green dot too. So he's in charge of making sure everybody's in line pre-snap, making sure everybody's in the right position. They know their assignments, all that jazz. That'll be especially crucial against John Mateer and this Oklahoma offense. So yeah, need to avoid the targeting. We could probably spend the rest of the show discussing whether Josiah Trotter's hit was actually targeting compared to maybe Nate Johnson's, which, that's, we could go back and forth about that. But yeah, it's absolutely crucial that the stars stay on the field if Mizzou wants a shot to win this game.
We need levels of targeting ASAP in this game. Point blank. Cody Goodwin at PowerMizzou.com here on the Big Show KTGR. Look, this game from Mizzou, it's like there's been a lot of talk around, like, oh, can they win big games? Can they go to places like this, beat top 10 opponents? Eli Drinkwitz hasn't done it here or there, whatever it might be. And then, of course, there's the whole discussion of Eli Drinkwitz's future on top of that. A win for Mizzou in this game what does it do? It doesn't change their playoff chances, obviously. I think they're still out of it. But like, what does it change as far as the talk around Eli Drinkwitz, what this program actually is under him, and whether there is still some hope that it could be more than it is now?
Yeah, I think it would give people hope that, like, oh, you can go on the road and beat a top 10 team, right? And I think, there's the opportunity here for Mizzou to, like, there's still, the playoff hopes might be dead, but there's still the opportunity for them to win 10 games if they're able to win out plus the bowl game, right? And that might be a consolation prize, we'll call it, because this team came into this season with hopes of making the playoff, with hopes of still being in contention for the SEC championship game. Those dreams might be dead, but a third consecutive 10-win season, like, the program has never experienced that before. That's still on the table. You got to win this weekend if you want any shot at getting that accomplished. And I think the other thing too is, I think Mizzou would revel in the fact that maybe they would ruin Oklahoma season if they're able to go down to Norman and take care of business on Saturday. So, if you want reasons to get up for this game, there are absolutely reasons to get up for this game. But yeah, I think as it pertains to Drinkwitz and his future, I think this would be another data point in the, hey, like, we can go on the road against a top 10 team, a team that is fighting for the goals that we ultimately want to accomplish. And we got the job done, right? And especially we got the job done when maybe the things that we were hoping to accomplish were kind of wiped out already, right? Like, that would say a lot, I think, about the competitive character of this team and just what, the kind of the pride and performance that they have. So I think there's I don't want to say there's a lot on the line, but there could be a lot that come out of this if Missouri is able to go down to Norman on Saturday and put forth a pretty good performance.
All right, Cody. Well, how would you weigh it? What's your prediction for Saturday?
I need Mizzou to show me that they can consistently move the ball against this defense, right? When you're a run-first operation, and even when you've got a running back as talented as Ahmad Hardy, and even, an RB2 as talented as Jamal Roberts, you're going up against a brick wall of a defense. You're going up against a defense that is hyper-aggressive, and you might be starting a true freshman quarterback down there against that hyper-aggressive defense. So I need Mizzou to show me that they can move the ball consistently on this defense. I'm not sure that they're going to be able to until they do show me. So, it might be a rock fight for a half, but I think this is one of those games where Oklahoma ultimately makes a few plays in the second half and pulls away. Something to the effect of 23-10, something in that range.
It seems like it could be a fair place to put it. So we'll see what happens there on Saturday. And Cody Goodwin will be there covering it for PowerMizzou.com. You got some good stuff on Power Mizzou this week. Dayton Hopkins piece in particular. What else can people check out?
Yeah, man, we wrote about Dayton Hopkins. Obviously, we've been keeping tabs on everything Drinkwitz has been saying just about the job, about how he feels about his current positioning at Missouri, whether it's, the financial part of it, the NIL part of it, what he's looking for in, what makes a good college football job. So we're going to stay all on top of that, Gabe and I. And then obviously we've still got games that we can cover this season. So we will be all on top of the game this weekend, the game next weekend at Arkansas, and then whatever bowl game comes in December. So PowerMizzou.com, part of 24/7 Sports. Come along and enjoy the ride with us.
Absolutely. Are you on your way to Norman now?
I am in the car. So my parents live in Kansas City, so we're going to go say what's up to them for a minute, and then we'll drive down to Norman on Friday.
That's awesome. I was trying to figure out from the trees what part of I-70 you were on, but I couldn't quite pinpoint it. But that's good to hear. Thanks for coming on and making some time for us during the drive, and good luck this weekend covering the game. We'll talk soon, my friend.
Thankful for the opportunity. Appreciate you guys reaching out, and hopefully it's not the last time that I'm on the big show.
No. It will be a much sooner appearance. Don't you worry. We will have.
We'll start bugging you now.
Yeah. Love it. Thanks,
Appreciate it, fellas.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks again. Big Show is on at 4:45 KTGR and the KTGR app. Yeah, like, I'm glad that he pointed it out. It was too long for us to have asked
Called
him
you
on.
out.
Yeah, he did.
I'll let you take the blame.
No, yeah, that's on me.
I'll bear no responsibility as though I couldn't have also said, hey, by the way,
okay,
let's get this guy. No, I'm just teasing. No, but he's great.
He's awesome. He brings the juice, man. That's awesome.
And he does, a lot of stuff on Power Mizzou and videos with Gabe and stuff, and brings a lot to the role. So it's cool to have him covering the team now.
All right. Under the Bus is coming up next. Yet another update on Mac Rhodes. And this one appears to be a final update with his tenure at Baylor. That's next.
Now, your local Sports Center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Andy Humphrey. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Go to leestirecompany.com. Bo Pribula listed as doubtful on the SEC availability report listed last night for Mizzou football. There was early optimism this week that he could be available to play on Saturday, 4 weeks after suffering a dislocated ankle against Vanderbilt. We'll await other updates. There will be one more tonight and then another one tomorrow night, and then 90 minutes before kickoff on Saturday at 11 a.m. as the Tigers visit number 8 Oklahoma. You can hear the Yingling Tiger Game Day show at 8 a.m. on Saturday right here on KTGR. Hoops doubleheader at Mizzou Arena today. It's halfway over. Mizzou women's basketball earlier today lost to Troy 100-82. They fall to 4-2 on the season. Their next game will be in Orlando as they take on Washington State on Sunday. Mizzou men's basketball tonight takes on South Dakota, looking to remain unbeaten. Honor Boateng expected to make his season debut for the Tigers after missing the first 5 games due to injury. 7 p.m. tip, 6:30 pregame right here on KTGR. Your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast with Shangri-La Dispensaries with 2 locations in Columbia, 1 in Jefferson City. Shangri-La Dispensaries is paradise found. ShangriLaDispensaries.com.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking a chilly night as temperatures remain in the low 50s. We'll see mostly cloudy skies and rain trying to move in from the south. It continues overnight into Friday. Expect soggy conditions throughout the day with temperatures in the mid to upper 50s. As we get into Friday night, rain moves to the east, but clouds look to linger into Saturday morning. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
The foundation is set.
Missouri knocks off the #1 team in the nation.
The frame is built.
On the run, Mitchell for the force of Missouri by 20.
And the gates,
the habits, the response to detail, the execution, all that stuff matters.
Are open.
Drives right baseline to the rim, jams it as he hangs and got fouled.
This is your radio home for Mizzou basketball.
Cruz, here comes the 3. Bang! He splashed it home.
Mid-Missouri's total sports station, KTGR.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Advanced Tree Solutions. They are the tree experts here in Mid-Missouri. And you need tree experts because there aren't too many out there. Lawn companies don't necessarily work too much with trees. Certainly electric companies don't. Usually that can be the issue, though. You've got a tree branch that's hanging over a power line, and the electric company is going to be like, yeah, we don't do anything about that. Gee, thanks. Well, you need a tree expert. So call Eric and his team at Advanced Tree Solutions because they don't just cut away branches from power lines or from fences or things like that. They also care for your trees. They care about the long-term health of all of the trees in your yard so they come back stronger each and every year. So you can call them to get trees and branches removed, but also call them about tree pruning this winter. As your trees start to lose their leaves, they can still come back stronger in the spring if you take care of pruning right now. So go to AdvancedTreeSolutionsLLC.com, get a quote, and let Advanced Tree Solutions be your tree's best friend.
Hi, I'm Rainey. And I'm Leland. And we're with Betts Jewelers. It's almost time for our 13th annual Fall Color Show. Join us on Thursday, November 20th from noon to 7. Come pop a balloon to reveal your prize. You can win your purchase 20% to 40% off. Or for free up to $5,000. Can't wait to see you at Betts Jewelers for our Fall Color Show. Noon to 7, baby. November 20th.
Beautiful moments begin at Betts. Begin at Betts.
Hi, this is Megan with Fortified Roofing and Siding. We've been with Zimmer for over 7 years. Zimmer helps Fortified Roofing and Siding grow with our brand message and our brand recognition year over year. Coming up with new strategies and brand messages, they allow us to become a business that is recognizable and well known due to our Powered by Puppies slogan. Griffin, what do you think? What's your favorite part of Zimmer?
You know business, we grow business. ZimmerCommunications.com.
It was 2:30 on a Tuesday when the phone rang. Brian Ware Plumbing answered the call. It was a dismayed wife. Fresh off vacation, her and her hubby came home to a wrecked water heater. It had sprung a leak, a bad one. So while the plumbing team took care of that leaky water heater, Brian's certified restoration guy, Josh, with 2 decades of experience, came in to restore the area and stop mold in its tracks. Another day, another job, another expert added to the team. Ho-hum. Better call Brian and unplug your plumbing problems. BrianWarePlumbing.com.
This is Nevada Schauke with True Sun Exteriors and Interiors.
And I'm the exterior director of sales. In the construction industry, the last few years, we've had a roller coaster ride. One thing that has stayed pretty consistent or common is that vendors have continued to raise prices on materials. We have called up to collaborate with some of our large vendors that we work with to offer some year-end promotions. If you're looking to replace your roof, upgrade your deck to composite, replace your old worn-out windows and doors, give us a call. We also offer several financing options to meet most budgets. Your project must be purchased by the end of the year. This is a unique opportunity to save some money on your next home renovation.
The difference between a house and a home is the attention to detail. At True Sun Exteriors and Interiors, we'll turn your vision of a dream home into a reality. For more information or a free estimate, go to TrueSunExteriors.com.
TrueSunExteriors.com.
They can't shoot it straight on the golf course, but they can shoot straight on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Back to Andy and Brenden on The Big Show on KTGR.
So now it's Mack Rhoades out as Baylor athletic director. I don't know if they've made it official just yet, but the reporting has said that we're going to expect it soon. They'll probably call it a mutual parting of ways, but this comes not too long after Rhoades took a leave of absence, and I guess it was initiated by him, according to the reporting on that.
Sure.
Yeah, it's personal reasons was the reason given. We have no idea. We know that there was an investigation into an incident in one of their games involving a player and a coach, which seemed a little slimy, but we don't know that that's the reason here. But we do know that he's all of a sudden not the Baylor AD. And it seemed kind of sudden that this all sort of happened.
Yeah, it something happened behind the scenes, right? And you can say that he initiated it of his own accord, but sometimes you do that to save face when you know that the hammer's coming down. And so, yeah, they can call it whatever they want, but something happened here that Mack Rhoades was involved in.
Yeah, no clue. We'll see if anything comes out about it, but for now, it's just an under the bus situation for Baylor. And that's now an interesting situation for Dave Aranda too, because his job wasn't maybe totally safe either. And we'll see if that job opens up. It wouldn't be a job that Eli Drinkwitz takes probably, but just another one to maybe add to the ledger and maybe monitor during this crazy college football coaching carousel. We shall see. Also, under the bus, Dave Toub, of all people, the special teams coach for the Chiefs, went after Donald Trump in a media availability.
This was funny. He's got some guts.
Because, the president has some thoughts on the kickoff rule. He doesn't like it. Says it's not football, whatever, however he says it. And, but here's Toub responding to Donald Trump's ire against the kickoff rule. Quote, he doesn't even know what he's looking at. He has no idea what's going on with the kickoff rule. So take that for what it's worth. And I hope he hears it. End quote. Woo. Oh.
And I hope he hears it. That part is crazy because now he's probably more likely to hear it.
Yeah, he's definitely going to hear it now. Of all people to call out President Trump, I did not have Dave Toub.
Did not have that on the bingo card, but
at all.
Kind of funny because he doesn't have any clue what he's talking about when it comes to these sports. He'll weigh in on a topic and it's not his day to day. So why would he know?
Yeah,
but he's just sharing his opinion as any sports fan would. But the coach for the Chiefs would say, yeah, I think I know more about this, so I'm going to call him out. That's funny to me. That is very funny to me.
It is really great. And I think the kickoff rule's been good in the sense of it has, I think, eliminated more punts because you're starting so far up the field now. One first down, and then the next series, you're most likely going to be in position where you're going for it. I just think all around it's been good.
That's a fair point.
Brenden, I saw you retweeted this. There's a huge gold glove now on top of the Rawlings headquarters in St. Louis. Is that up now?
I think they've got it up. I haven't driven by it yet, but I imagine you should be able to see it from Highway 270 there in the Westport area. And that's kind of a cool deal. I mean, the Rawlings headquarters are in St. Louis, and yeah, they put it's a gigantic Gold Glove to kind of, I mean, that's recognizable, right?
Yeah.
You know, you think Gold Glove, you think Rawlings, and they're like, let's put one on top of our building, which I think is kind of fun.
It makes a lot of sense. We're home of the Gold Gloves, essentially, and you get to see one driving by. And like most people in St. Louis know, obviously, and folks around here and in Columbia and everything like that. I don't know how many people like nationally realize that Rawlings is headquartered in St. Louis. Like that's the home of it. And I think having a recognizable feature really helps with that too. So yeah, well done by Rawlings. And next time I'm on 270, I suppose. I don't know when that'll be. Probably I don't know. You're obviously more close.
The next time it happens, you let us know, because I don't know if it will, if you'll ever drive by this, but I will probably do it within the next couple of weeks if I had to guess.
So go and check it out if you're in the St. Louis area. All right. Over-unders for Chiefs Colts in a game that, like, each and every day, just keep looking at it and you think, Chiefs got to win this one. So they got to have some over-unders in their favor, it would seem, too. Tell us some that you want us to weigh in on at 573-875-KTGR. And text in also your fantasy football questions. We'll have Play, Fade, Eliminate at 525.
This year, take a bite out of one holiday hassle and have your festive feast expertly prepared by Main Event Catering, the chefs of Courtyard by Marriott Columbia. Ready for pickup? You'll spend less time in the kitchen and more smiles with family. All the favorites: turkey, ham, prime rib, roast beef, even fried chicken, and more. Plus, any of the side dishes and desserts your crew craves. Treat to your family with Main Event Catering. Order Holiday Magic today. 443-8000, 443-8000, and jingle all the way.
The Big O Tires Black Friday sale is on. It's the biggest sale of the year. Now through December 7th, buy 3 tires and get the 4th free on select sets. That's right, buy 3 tires and get the 4th free. And the savings don't stop there. Get up to $120 off select sets of Michelin tires. Get rolling with huge savings before they're gone. Only at your locally owned and operated Big O Tires, the team you trust.
We got you covered at Big O.
Hi, I'm Tristan Colon, Mizzou grad and 6-year NFL veteran.
I'm Charlie Stickland.
And I'm Sarah Stickland McDonald of the Stickland & Stickland Injury Law Firm.
In football, home field advantage can make all the difference.
The same is true when choosing your injury lawyer.
We're locals. We know the courts, we know the towns, we know the people.
Just as I protect my team on the field,
Our family will protect your family.
When sorry just doesn't cut it.
Push back with Stickland & Stickland.
Columbia's best Black Friday gun sale is at Minutemen Defense. November 18th through the 29th, everything except ammo is on sale. Big giveaways November 28th and 29th, including merch, ammo bundles, and Cerakote packages. Don't miss Friday and Saturday specials, plus tiered savings on S-Tac gear. Shop their website now through Black Friday and use the code RADIO at checkout for a special Black Friday discount on your purchase. Visit MinutemenDefenseLLC.com. Minutemen Defense off I-70 in Rangeline.
KTGR AM Columbia, KTGR FM Fulton Columbia, K286CL Columbia, in Missouri's total sports station. KTGR
Sports Center.
The Bills and Texans kick off Week 12 in the NFL. I'm Chris Smith. The Bills second in the NFL in total offense this season, while the Texans have the best scoring defense and total defense in the NFL. And Sal Capaccio of WDR 550 Sports Radio says Buffalo needs to hit the ground running.
I think the Bills are going to just try to keep them off balance. Let's be honest, guys. The Buffalo Bills, as much as their passing game was great last week, it has struggled a lot this year, but their run game has been great. They're the number 1 running team in the league. And I think they're going to try and lean on that run game. I think they're going to give the ball to James Cook, and they're going to try and keep the Texans off balance. They can't become one-dimensional. So I think they're going to do everything they can to get that running game established.
Heard on ESPN Radio's Game Night. Cook, 32 yards shy of his 3rd straight 1,000-yard rushing season as he looks to join Thurman Thomas and O.J. Simpson as the only players in Bills franchise history to do so in 3 straight. Bad news for the Texans. It's running back Joe Mixon not expected to return this season because of a foot injury, first reported by the NFL Network and confirmed by ESPN. And for the second straight day, Bengals QB Joe Burrow had a full practice, taking 100% of the team reps, preparing him for the possibility that he could play on Sunday versus New England.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. We make the claims process easy so you can get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at progressive.com.
From Faro. 15 to the 10, to the house. Bush. Back to the wall. And it's got her. And Arrowhead. Touchdown! Kansas City. To your speakers. This is the big show, baby. Get fresh takes on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Right now, this is the Big Show with Andy and Brenden on KTGR.
More football talk coming your way as we get into the over-unders for Chiefs Colts. It's a big one this weekend as the Chiefs need the win to avoid falling below 500. They're already out of the wild card race as it stands. Well, they're in the race, but they're out of a spot right now. So it's a big one. You can call us or text us, 573-875-5847, with your questions for Chiefs Colts over-unders. And you can also, while you're at it, text us your questions for fantasy football this weekend. 525, we'll play, fade, eliminate as we try to get our lineup set for another big weekend of fantasy football. 573-875-KTGR. Call or text us, but first, it's 5 o'clock.
It's time for the Top 5 at 5 on The Big Show. Number 1.
If you want to trade away for curtain number 1, you can have curtain 1.
Bo Pribula doubtful on the first SEC availability report released last night for the Mizzou-Oklahoma game this Saturday. He's trying to come back from a dislocated ankle that he suffered 4 weeks ago. And look, it'd be kind of miraculous for him to be back, which is why I'm still kind of skeptical that he will be. Doubtful obviously creates a whole lot of doubt for his chances there. I have to think that it's probably still Matt Zowers this weekend. But look, we've seen Brady Cook be doubtful on that report before, and he played that weekend. So who knows? Maybe there's an upgrade later this week for Bo. We'll see for sure. Bottom line, he does give Mizzou the best chance to win, I think, when healthy against Oklahoma, a top 10 team, kickoff at 11 a.m. on Saturday.
Number 2.
Number 2, your timing is impeccable.
Chiefs back to practice today. Kingsley Suamataia returned to practice in a limited capacity, dealing with a concussion right now. Isaiah Pacheco, after a full practice yesterday, was limited today, so we'll see how that looks. Xavier Worthy, by the way, also back limited with the ankle injury. So we'll keep monitoring those situations for the Chiefs as they have what I think is a must-win game this weekend against the Colts at home. I know it's a good team, but you got to win your home games now, I think, from here on out in order to give yourself a chance for the playoffs. It kicks off at noon on Sunday.
Number 3.
2 games at Mizzou Arena tonight. Mizzou men's basketball plays later this evening against South Dakota. We'll expect to see Honor Boateng on the court for the first time this regular season after he missed the first 5 games. Mizzou women's hoops, they shot really well today, but the problem was Troy shot a lot better, and Mizzou turned it over 18 times. Troy won 100-82 in front of a bunch of screaming Columbia Public Schools students at Mizzou Arena earlier this afternoon.
Number 4.
Oh, shanked it.
Mack Rhodes, it's now official. He's resigning his post as Baylor athletic director. The former Mizzou AD had taken a leave of absence recently for what was called personal reasons. You know, it's still not sure how to read this situation. There's a lengthy statement from Baylor's president about Mack Rhodes highlighting his accomplishments. I don't know if it would have been that lengthy of a statement if this was something that Rhodes was responsible for, any kind of wrongdoing. I'm not so sure. We'll see if anything comes out about it, but Rhodes out as Baylor AD.
Number 5.
What is the 5 fingers? Say to the face.
This might sound weird for Chiefs fans, but tonight, Bills-Texans, root for the Bills.
That's the Big Show's Top 5 at 5 on KTGR.
875-KTGR if you want to call or text us. That is not the type of thinking that Chiefs fans have had over the last few years when they've been a team that has fought with the Bills for the top seed or some sort of seeding in the playoffs. But I think this year it's a little different. Texans have the same record as you. They're technically ahead of you right now in the AFC standings. I think And I know that the Bills technically also have a wild card spot. So like, they're not like, they could maybe down the line be right next to the Chiefs standing spots. I don't know. But I think for now, like, I think you root for as many teams that are a spot or two away from you to lose as possible for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think that's right, because the Bills aren't going to lose their playoff spot nearly as likely.
No.
Even if the Texans should win tonight, the Bills would be 7-4. I think they're 7-3 right now. So, I mean, and the Bills have the tiebreaker over the Chiefs. So you're talking about the Bills would need to then lose still probably another 3 games, and the Chiefs then get to 11 to outpace the Bills at a 10-7. Yeah, I think that makes sense. You would root for the Bills to go ahead and handle their business tonight and knock the Texans down a notch.
So maybe a bit odd, because I'm sure early in the season, Chiefs fans were like, well, we'll be fighting for the 1 seed anyway. Let's root for the Bills to lose. No,
not so much.
It's changed now. Things are a little bit different. The situation for the Chiefs is they're now looking up at a team like the Colts that comes in this weekend to Arrowhead for a noon kickoff. Those are rare in Kansas City as well. But let's throw out some over-unders for this game coming up this Sunday between the Chiefs and the Colts. You can call or text us at 573-875-KTGR. Derek texting in, whoever's calling the offensive plays for the Chiefs needs to lay off the passing. Just because you have Mahomes doesn't mean you get to throw 3 out of 4 times.
You want to run it with Pacheco, huh?
I mean, you do maybe once or twice more, but I think the main thing, like, look, I didn't necessarily like the balance that they had in Denver this past weekend. I thought Kareem Hunt was running pretty well given the expectations, and you probably could have turned to that a little more often on first downs to prevent the Chiefs from having to just chuck it on 2nd and 3rd. But we have a lot of this back and forth talk. Usually it's maybe only a couple of series where, like, okay, you can run it there, but you also have Patrick freaking Mahomes, and you have all of these weapons. Like, that is the bedrock of your offense. Now, look, all offenses have to come from running the football at some point and having a steady foundation there, but you have to recognize what gets you to this point, why the Chiefs offense has looked the way that it's looked. And it's because Patrick Mahomes, in the games where the Chiefs have looked good, has had time to throw. He has had his weapons healthy, and the offense, every pass catcher is fitting into the routes that they were supposed to be running in the first place.
Yeah, and I just think, I don't know how far you're going to go necessarily running the ball with the guys that they've got. Right now, I'm looking, and I haven't even seen yet a rushing line on any of these guys. Obviously, that's probably because of Pacheco's status. We don't know it for sure. Was he questionable today?
He was limited today. He was a full participant yesterday. Today, limited.
So I wonder if he got hurt again.
I don't know. Yeah.
Because I would have said if it was just regular trajectory of a week of practice that he would probably be on track to play. But now, hard to say. And without him, I mean, you're talking about another Kareem Hunt, Brashard Smith game. So I don't know that I'm in full alignment with that when it comes to saying, yeah, the Chiefs should run the ball more, just because I think they ought to be able to throw the ball. They've got all the weapons. Now, maybe Xavier Worthy is not 100%, but I mean, Indianapolis is a really good run defense as well. So I don't think this is the week that I would agree with the premise of run the ball more. Colts have given up 92.3 yards per game on the ground. That's 5th fewest in the NFL this season.
Yeah, they're good. They can stymie those rushing attacks, and certainly the Chiefs rushing attack, even with Pacheco. I think it will, like, if Pacheco can go, then you play him, though. Like, you still turn to it. You try to get it going, but will there be a point where you have to abandon it a little bit quicker? Maybe. It'll be interesting how the game script goes with whether the Chiefs would like to maybe get a faster start in this game so that if run plays don't work out all that well later in the game, then they know that they can fall back on their passing attack to throw back into it. But when it comes to Mahomes, I mean, we had somebody text in an over-under here. It was Shane who is throwing out Patrick more or less 250 yards and 3 touchdowns in this game. 3 touchdowns.
So the 3 touchdowns, the 2.5 touchdowns would probably be a nice plus money endeavor, I would think.
Yeah.
Well, it's minus 172 on over 1.5. So maybe the 2.5 is probably a little bit of a longer shot, but not necessarily crazy. Because look, that is the way to attack this defense. I don't know about with scoring touchdowns, but I do with yardage. They're 25th in pass defense, 235 per game. Although over the last 3, it's just been 188. So I mean, the Colts are just playing pretty good defense more recently. They're always great against the run, but they've been even a little bit better recently against the pass. Is kind of the way that it breaks down. But Mahomes' line for passing is 271.5. So that was I would take over if that was the number from the texter. I think the more apt number is the number that's out there, which of 271.5 feels like a big number. But also, again, when you consider the tendencies of not only the Colts, but the Chiefs as well, what they do on offense, what the Colts do well on defense, it should lend itself to like probably dropping back to pass a bunch and having some success doing it.
Well, that's the key thing, is that maybe you don't have to drop back and pass as much if you are as successful as you can be throwing the football, because those plays are working and you're able to move the football and get key third downs, which Colts defensively against third down, not all that great either. They're 27th in the league, giving up third downs at about a 42% clip. So like you have the tools to be able to keep drives alive against this team. And I think that would lend to having a better success rate passing the football, which would mean Mahomes maybe gets to that total with fewer attempts than you would maybe want for a game. Because like he threw it almost 50 times against Denver. I don't think he needs
you want
to
to be more
50
efficient
times.
than you don't want him having to do that. But I'm curious what his passing attempts are. I'll take a look at it. Looks like it's right around 37 would be like the number that would be closest to do an over-under on. And like he'll probably be close to that. And he may extend beyond it, but yeah, 50 is probably pushing it again. But in a game that's tight, you might have to do more to matriculate your team down the field against a defense that, like, look, they'll probably try to run the ball some. I just don't know how much success they're going to have.
And here's the thing. I would think about the over on the touchdowns too. On the 2.5, can he get to 3? I think he can get to 3 here.
The game total, and when I think about that, I always like to think about the game total. It's pretty high at 50.5 for an NFL game. That's no joke. I mean, that's a pretty sizable number. And the Chiefs are minus 3.5 right now. So you would equate their expected like team scoring amount to be about 26.5, 27. So yeah, I think that, there's an implication they could score 3 touchdowns. And at that point, you're just hoping that it's going to end up being through the air if you're talking about 3 for Mahomes.
And so, and also Colts aren't very good at defending in the red zone either. And so if you're able to convert those chances to touchdowns, like it could even be Mahomes just running it in, but I think the Chiefs could find themselves in a lot of spots where they are able to get guys like Hollywood Brown and Travis Kelce open in the red zone a little bit better so that they can pace in this game. And look, a lot of projecting, obviously. How much more projecting do we do with this Chiefs team? Like I firmly believe that this is the type of game that they can use at home. Like that's been the key, is that on the road, they have not looked like the team that they have been at home this year. Home games against the Ravens and the Lions looked great. Obviously, when they went on the road against teams like the Jags and the Broncos, they're in the game, obviously, but it's not like the last play here or there is just eluding them and they can't pick themselves up from it. So most of the offensive numbers that I look at, I would lean over just because of the fact that they've got their home digs, and that their offense has been night and day different. Mahomes himself has been night and day different playing at home this year versus on the road.
Yeah. And I think that you're going to see hopefully some home cooking in this one. Like it feels like, even though you have to kind of respect the Colts and say like the spread's going to be 3.5, it feels like everybody knows how much the Chiefs need this one. And it, like, as much as I like to joke and kind of poke fun sometimes about the Chiefs, I'm not going to be on the other side of this one. I feel like, okay, what are the things that are going to make them successful? They're going to make sure to do those because their season's kind of on the line if they don't. And so, yeah, the passing stuff, I would say probably over on just about all of it. I don't know exactly who it goes to. It's probably a big Rice game, I would have to think, because we know that, Worthy has tweaked the ankle. Even if he ends up being available for the game, I don't know what his contributions are going to be. So I would say Rice stuff I probably would like in this game for sure.
Interesting. So Worthy, we had a text in from Jim, 875-KTGR. He's got 3 over-unders for us. Xavier Worthy, 4.5 catches.
Under.
I think I agree. I think, yeah.
I don't know what his health is going to be.
Yeah, because the ankle popped up again. He didn't practice yesterday. He got back there in a limited capacity today. Like, I don't think he's going to miss the game, but like again, how much will they use him is going to be interesting. So I'd say under 2, because like, look, he could have a good game, which would mean like 4 catches for 45 or 55, and that'd be a good game. 4.5 is a hard number to clear, I think, for him.
Yeah, I just don't think that's really his style. In the Colts, they give up decent amount of, obviously with their passing numbers, they give out a decent amount of yards. They do, I will say, give up maybe top 5 or 6 in terms of receptions per game to wide receivers. So maybe, they've given up a lot of attempts and the efficiency is not terrible, but they do give up a lot of pass attempts, which would make sense because they're usually ahead in their games. And so teams are throwing against them. That's my best thought, is like maybe it's a favorable game for Worthy because of they just give up a decent amount of receptions. More than anything, as I'm looking at some of these numbers, I actually think more on the Kelsey of it all. Like when you talk about receptions to wide receivers, that still says Rice to me more so than Worthy's game in terms of volume.
Okay.
So I think that still lends itself to Rice. Tight ends have I'm looking at this now, the second most yards per game against the Colts. So that could be one where like tight ends average about 72.6 yards per game against the Colts. Maybe it's a Kelsey game. Again, how different teams use their tight end, that's not always a stat that you can trust. But like, when a guy's at the tight end spot, even if he's split wide, it'll still count. Like a Brock Bowers being split wide or a Kelsey being split wide will still count for that. But the Colts have kind of had that as a weak spot of their team. Okay, let's talk about it in narrative form. The season's on the line for the Kansas City Chiefs. What is Patrick Mahomes going to do? He's probably going to throw the ball to Travis Kelce a good number of times. So maybe that's the way you approach it this weekend in your jurisdiction of legality.
It's a fair way to go. 875-KTGR. Give us a call or a text. His other over-unders, this one, half a missed extra points.
It feels mean, but also not like wrong to ask.
He didn't specify the team though. So, I mean, like it could be maybe either team. I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
But I'd say under.
I'll say under just to be friendly today. I do want to go over on Kelsey's yardage though. It's only 51.5. I think that's a slam. That's a slam dunk in my opinion.
I think so too. And then one more from Jim, Jonathan Taylor, 99.5 rushing yards. Let's get to 100. I say no way.
He's a beast though, man.
He's very good.
I want to see what he's done.
It's
I mean, obviously he went crazy last week against the Falcons, but they're terrible against the run.
Yeah.
He's had 153 yards, but that was against the Titans, 123 against the Cardinals, 244 last week against the Falcons. But when he's facing these better run defenses, maybe the one that stands out is he did have 165 on the Broncos. And that's a pretty good defense.
Good number, yeah.
But I'm going to say under because for the most part, when he faces better defenses, he has more humanly totals instead of these alien numbers that he's been putting up this year.
The Chiefs have allowed on the dot an average of 100 rushing yards per game this season.
As a team, not to
As
an
a team,
individual.
yes.
Okay.
Not
I'd
ninth
lean
in the
under,
NFL.
but let's say this: I'd lean under, but Jonathan Taylor's not the guy I'm looking to fade right now, so I probably wouldn't.
Oh no.
Wouldn't want to place a bet on that in your jurisdiction of legality. That's one where it's like, yeah, say under on the radio, but if he does it, I wouldn't be shocked.
And that's probably not where the number is, right? Where is the number, actually?
Oh, for Taylor?
Yeah.
I would guess that it's lower than that, but not by much, 90.5.
Okay, well.
And I might be inclined to take the over on that.
Yeah.
You know, if he gets 92 yards or something like that, that's probably within the realm. Look, I'd say this. If he goes under, I feel very good about the Chiefs winning the game. Like, if he doesn't break the game on him, is Daniel Jones going to do it to him? I know Daniel Jones has had a good year, but he's also had some dud games here and there. I think he'll probably run into some trouble if he has to carry the load.
I would hope so. Like, Daniel Jones has looked good this year, and I think the Chiefs will know how to handle him. At 92 would be enough, I think, to pace the Colts offense, though. And so I would think that getting it under that number, I think, is pretty imperative for the Chiefs. Their defense is predicated upon trying to make you play left-handed a little bit and not have the run game available to you. So, and even then, they sometimes don't even win games that way. So it'll be interesting, but I think that's a fair place to put it for Jonathan Taylor based on what he's done and based on what the Chiefs have done this year. If you have other over-unders that you want to give to us, 573-875-KTGR here on The Big Show is how you call or text them into us. You can also leave a comment on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@KTGR Sports, or on Facebook, facebook.com/KTGR Big Show. Also, text in your fantasy football questions. Get ready for Bills Texans tonight and the rest of the fantasy football weekend. Play, fade, eliminate. Coming up next on The Big Show.
Follow The Big Show on Facebook, X, Instagram, and YouTube. And keep it here on your total sports station, KTGR.
Hi, this is Megan with Fortified Roofing and Siding. We've been with Zimmer for over 7 years. Zimmer helps Fortified Roofing and Siding grow with our brand message and our brand recognition year over year. Coming up with new strategies and brand messages, they allow us to become a business that is recognizable and well known due to our Powered by Puppies slogan. Griffin, what do you think? What's your favorite part of Zimmer?
You know business, we grow business. ZimmerCommunications.com.
You know your former golf bag? It's not just holding up the weed whacker on your garage wall. It's also holding cash. Same goes for that rowing machine you swore you'd use once. At Play It Again Sports, turn your gently used gear into money in your pocket. Bring in your old golf equipment, fitness gear, softball bats, baseball cleats, and more. Cash out and keep it, or trade up to something better. Play It Again Sports in Columbia. Think of them first so you don't finish last. Play It Again Sports, ColumbiaMo.com.
This weekend, cancel your plans. Brunch is calling at the Dive Bar in Columbia. Start with biscuits, not just any biscuits, local made, buttermilk, sweet corn, even gluten-free, smothered in scratch-made gravy, pork sausage, or the chorizo. Don't forget the loaded biscuit, fluffy omelet, drenched in gravy, stacked so high it's basically brunch art. And then there's the Dive Cristo, smoked ham, house-made raspberry jam, gooey cheese wrapped in a flaky puff pastry. The Monte Cristo wishes it was this good. Brunch, Saturday and Sunday only at the Dive Bar in Columbia. Don't just eat, experience.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like rugs. And people say a rug would really bring the room together. And sure, you don't know what that means, but it sounds important. Suddenly you're using words like jute and sisal. Then you see the price and lose it, because how can the thing you walk and spill on cost so much? So you devote your life to taking down Big Rug. But then you remember that switching your home and auto to Progressive could save you hundreds. So looks like Big Rug is safe. For now. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
What's up, Missouri? Tony Gonzalez here. I've spent a lot of Sundays right here playing in front of the best fans in football. And now it's almost your turn to get in the game, because DraftKings Sportsbook is coming to the Show Me State on December 1st. Soon you'll get fast payouts when you win, a safe and secure app that's easy to use and promos that keep the action going all season long. It's America's top-rated sportsbook app. New customers can sign up right now and score $300 in bonus bets on launch day, December 1st.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code KTGR. New Missouri customers, sign up today and score $300 in bonus bets once we're live. That's code KTGR in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Subject to regulatory licensing requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
Tired of calling Andy and Brenden? So are their wives. Then shoot them a text right now. 573-875-KTGR and become part of the Big Show.
Over-unders for Chiefs Colts. Call or text them in at 875-KTGR. We'll get to your fantasy football questions as well during Play Fade Eliminate here in a bit. You can also tell us your thoughts on Mizzou, Oklahoma. That's a big game on Saturday here as well with a call or a text. We have apparently an OU fan on the KTGR hotline ready to join us here. Xavier is on the line. Xavier told me that he was nervous about the game, though. Xavier, why are you nervous?
Man, everything about this game just feels like an upset.
Why is that?
If you just factor in, well, Brent Venables, he doesn't really do good in games that the fans really, really, really want to win. You know, that's Texas, that's Mizzou from last year. You know, in Oklahoma State when we played them, he just doesn't really show up in games that the fans really, really want. And you know, I think Pribula is going to play, and if he plays, he is the perfect quarterback to go against a Brent Venables defense, because the only way you can really beat a Brent Venables defense is if you got the element of surprise, which is his legs, and Pribula can actually throw. It kind of feels like every time I just think about the game, I just think about Brent Venables' first year at Oklahoma, whenever K-State came to Oklahoma. And we were riding high. We're number 6 in the country. And, K-State just came in, and Adrian Martinez, I had nightmares about him running. And I feel like he's running right now.
Yeah, I mean, and look, I won't fault you for that. Xavier, appreciate the call here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. I mean, look, I think it's pretty clear, again, like if Pribula's in, I think that does up Mizzou's chances. By how much, I'm not sure, but like it does up it. And so because you have that threat of his legs, assuming that he's healthy.
That's the thing. Like, can he be healthy enough to play, but not healthy enough to run as much as he typically did?
Good question.
And then if it's in that's what it is, do you play him? Because a lot of the reason that he was effective when he was because of his legs. So that's kind of a conundrum, I think. But I like hearing Xavier call in and say those things. Like I've tried to kind of look about it on Twitter, and you've always got the Oklahoma fans that are, very brash and believe, they're going to roll you. But there's Mizzou fans that do that too. Yeah. And that's just like the fun kind of trash talk before a game. But like in the threads that don't involve Mizzou fans that I've read through, there are Oklahoma fans that'll say like, my confidence is like a 7 out of 10, maybe, because there's always that kind of thought of this
too good to be true, right?
Yeah, this is that kind of game that, as Xavier pointed out, maybe they lose sometimes. So I feel like Missouri defensively will play well. I thought Cody's analysis of what it'll look like, he said 23-10, and I think that's pretty reasonable. We're like maybe a lower scoring first half. Oklahoma pulls away in the second half, but they still don't score a bunch. If it goes that way, Mizzou's just not going to be able to climb the hill offensively. But if they find a way to get some points where, maybe they run a little better than we're expecting, or maybe they get a defensive touchdown. Maybe they'll need a defensive touchdown to win. But there's no shame in that. Oklahoma's had that 2 weeks in a row, and, they were the net success ratings best lucky team against Alabama because Alabama outplayed them pretty significantly if you look at the net success stuff. So that would give me hope that Mizzou can pull it off, but I'm also kind of going, 23-10 maybe feels more like like they play well, but by the time it's over, you go, oh man, they asked too much out of their defense again this week.
It'll be very interesting, but Pribula's status is going to be the main talking point all the way up to it. And we'll see what he looks like if, in fact, he's healthy. I would think that if they deem him healthy enough, that it probably means that they're okay with having him be mobile and be out there. So we'll see. But thanks for the call, Xavier. Thanks for listening to in your mind, I'm sure, an enemy show.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Was good. And he had good
that.
thoughts about the other perspective on, everybody kind of views their head coach a certain way. Mizzou fans, I think people generally like Drink, but they do have that, the big game thing. Well, it kind of sounds like Oklahoma fans are feeling that a little bit too with Venables. And this would be one where, as much as it is true, they're favored by a touchdown. You get this one, and then you get through LSU. There's nothing to criticize anymore. You're in. So you just got to clean up those two games, and they'll be favored in both of them.
And I can understand OU's fans' trepidation of shoot, we beat Alabama. We didn't they go to Ole Miss and win, or did Ole Miss win that game? I think Ole Miss won that one.
I think Ole Miss beat them.
But they've gotten some big wins to get to this point to kind of keep their season alive. And it feels like Alabama's the biggest hurdle to that. So do they let off the gas?
I mean, getting through Bama and Tennessee in consecutive weeks with Tennessee being on the road, they're earning their keep for sure. And Mizzou will be another ranked game. So technically another, ranked win. Mizzou won't be ranked if they lose after it's done. But yeah, I mean, that definitely is notable. They've had, look, in the Michigan game, that's a good team. I don't think it's a great Michigan team, but that they had to prove it from the beginning of the season, right? That was their second game of the year, and they beat them by 11. Got to have it at home, but they handled their business. So
it's like they were very similar teams going into that game, great defenses, but quarterbacks that maybe aren't quite comfortable in the system that they're in, and that just eventually got to that point, especially with OU.
I think Mizzou is very similar to Oklahoma as a team, but what they do have the ability to do is have the explosive play on offense through the air, and Mizzou just hasn't had it all year. Yeah. So that's the one thing that their quarterback situation with Mateer now, even he probably gets healthier every week off of that surgery, right? He's going to be a challenge to hold down for sure.
All right, let's get to this now.
It's time to play Fade or Eliminate.
You might only have a few weeks left before your playoff starts in your respective leagues.
I'm trying to think, is it week?
This is week 12.
So 12, 13, 14, and then playoffs will begin in most leagues. So, yeah this is the push. Got to have them now. Got to get these dubs.
So we'll try to help you out as best we can. Call or text in your fantasy football questions, 573-875-KTGR here on The Big Show. David H. back, as he always is. PPR Flex. Play Fade Eliminate. Tyrone Tracy. Kayshawn Booty. Or Bucks running back. He says he has both Bucky Irving and Sean Tucker.
Nightmare. Yeah, Booty, if he plays, looks like he's getting back to practice. Practiced in full on Wednesday. He was cooking before the injury. And they do play the Bengals this week. Now, Burrow's expected to potentially be back. I can't say he's expected, but he's been practicing fully all week.
Yeah.
So let's say he starts. That means that it's probably a higher scoring game. Patriots need to throw more. Can't rely on the run as much. Bengals are a bad secondary. Game's in Cincy, though, so maybe their defense gets hyped up because they get Burrow back. You're thinking about all these things. Tyrone Tracy has been ceding too much ground to Devin Singletary. I don't know the stats. I don't have in front of me for Tracy from last week, but I feel like, and he did have good numbers against the Packers, 19 for 88 and had 4 receptions. So good fantasy output. Are you betting on that to happen again at Lions, a Lions team that's needing a win and needing to bounce back? A little bit more of a fade there on the Tracy thing. It is PPR, so maybe he gets that pass catching role. But man, I'd be inclined to look at Booty. I don't really want to touch the Bucks because if Irving comes back, great. He's probably ready to go, and that's the answer. But you do have to wait till Sunday night to find that out. And don't hear what I'm not saying. If Irving plays, he probably outscores Kayshawn Booty. But you may not have the luxury to know it. Obviously, if it's a flex conversation, this does give you that little bit of that wiggle room, but the Bengals play at noon, so you're going to have to decide. I would say if Bucky Irving's playing, I feel fine to play him above these other options. But without that, known for sure by Sunday morning, my answer would be play Booty, fade Tracy, and eliminate Bucky, because if I don't know for sure by the time the noon games are starting, I unless I have a great fallback option, which I guess
but
it's
like
Rashad.
Sean Tucker blew up last week
Against the Rams, though.
It
I'm
is
going to tell you,
different,
David,
yeah.
I've never been more confident in getting this one wrong for you this week. Of all the years that you've asked these questions, I've never been more confident because, and he'll just text me, and he should text me on Sunday morning, and we can do this again, because right now, there's too much uncertainty about the status there. And like Rachaad White is still around. So who's to say that Rachaad White doesn't become the lead back again over Sean Tucker? There's too much going on with that. So for now, my answer is Booty because of the matchup, but he might not even play. So for the first time in Big Show history, my answer is David, text me on Sunday morning. That's my honest answer to this play, fade, eliminate.
Just be ready to check your phone, I suppose.
I'll be doing the same stuff with my lineup. So, yeah.
875-KTGR. Call or text in your fantasy football questions here on the Big Show for play, fade, eliminate. All right. Maybe if you're in a pinch this week, wide receivers, play, fade, eliminate. Jaden Higgins, Andre Yoshivash, Luther Burden.
Luther Burden is my play.
Yeah.
I think it's coming, guys. I really do think it's coming for him. He's getting Ben Johnson to say good stuff about him. He's getting on the field just a little bit more, little by little. Only had 3 catches. PPR, he had 5.7 last week, 8.1 the week before that. That's not killing you. That's not great. But I don't want to miss out right now on the Luther Burden experience. Yoshivash, I don't know what he did. He must have done something good recently to get ranked higher this week. But no, thanks. I'll eliminate that from consideration. Higgins, I don't mind tonight against the Bills, but give me Luther Burden in that situation for sure. And,
exactly.
and if you do play Higgins, put him in your wide receiver, not your flex.
Yeah, Jaden Higgins, a.k.a. not Luther Burden.
Not Luther Burden.
Could have been.
To Texans fans forever, right?
This one for sure. Like, I know we are not that big of a crossover. The Venn diagram is not all that big, but yeah, that's how we recognize it. Big Show's on at 538 KTGR and the KTGR app. If you want to text in fantasy football questions to us, do so with a call or a text at 573-875-KTGR. Running backs, play, fade, eliminate. Aaron Jones, Alvin Kamara, or Kenneth Gainwell.
Aaron Jones has been the guy more so for the Vikings, so I feel okay about that. Kamara taking on the Falcons. The Falcons just got torched by Jonathan Taylor, so I think Kamara's got to be the answer. Gainwell, whatever. I'm tired of him. Like, if Warren plays, Gainwell's an ancillary piece. If Warren doesn't play, Gainwell probably is your starter, and he'll be good for fantasy. But I think the play is Kamara because of that matchup. The Falcons are just woeful on the ground. So play Kamara. If Warren is out, Gainwell's only my fade. If Warren is in, Gainwell's my eliminate, which would make Aaron Jones my fade.
All right. Quarterbacks now. Play, fade, eliminate. Trevor Lawrence. Tyler Shuck. Jordan Love.
I don't think you could convince me to do the Tyler Shuck thing ever. Trevor Lawrence against the Cardinals, that feels like there could be some sneaky points scored. Like, Cardinals have been giving up some real money. So I'll go Trevor Lawrence. Who was the third guy?
Jordan Love.
Yeah, he's kind of a little bit banged up. He's a fade for me. I'll eliminate Tyler Shuck, though. I don't think I can trust him. Lawrence, I kind of like this week, actually. I think it is on the road, but I like the matchup.
Tyler Shuck is facing the Falcons.
Yeah, but they don't give it up through the air. They give it up on the ground. I want to double check that now that I've given it out over the radio.
I mean, it's not like it. I would agree with you that Shuck is the eliminate from that list.
Falcons. So the Falcons on the year are 6th ranked pass defense, but they have been more forgiving and generous recently. They gave up 419 yards to Bryce Young. That's kind of shifting those numbers for the season when you get that many thrown against you. But otherwise, it's not really something that happens all too often.
Okay, let's go to tight ends now. Here on Play, Fade, Eliminate. Text in your fantasy football questions to 573-875-KTGR. Tight ends, play, fade, eliminate. Theo Johnson, A.J. Barner, Brock Wright.
I like Theo Johnson. I don't know what the status will be of Jackson Dart yet this week. It's a concussion, so we'll have to see if he's able to come back. Sorry, I'm looking up the matchups here.
Theo Johnson's at the Lions.
At the Lions, and so that's also Brock Wright's matchup as the Giants. I don't know. I don't think I can do it with the Brock Wright thing. He might score a touchdown and be great, but he's not Sam Laporta. I think the receivers get involved in that matchup to get the Lions right. I don't hate the Brock Wright play, but Theo Johnson is against that tough defense that's going to be motivated, so that's a little scary. Who's the third tight end you named?
A.J. Barner.
Gosh dang. It always seems strange with the tight ends in that Seattle situation. They got Elijah Arroyo, that's a rookie, but they haven't really used him as much. Barner's coming off of his best game of basically his career, if you just count the receptions. He had 10 catches for 70 yards. If you're PPR, I don't know. I can't really ignore that. Probably Barner in PPR. But if not, I don't know. Play Barner. You might have to ride the hot hand. If they're looking for him that many times, he faces the Titans. It's a pretty easy matchup. So we'll go Barner. We will go Theo as the fade. Eliminate Brock Wright. It's not bad, though. He'll probably score a touchdown now that I eliminated.
Well,
that's the way these go.
It's touchdown dependent for him. But
and so if you're PPR, you want to take the opportunity to go with a Theo or a Barner that's going to see a lot of targets, and they also might score a touchdown, right?
I feel like Brock Wright's gotten a good amount of targets. Maybe it's only been one game that's
what I'm saying. It was just this past week.
Laporta's been
2
out.
receptions, 8 yards.
Okay,
so
maybe not. But we'll see what it looks like this weekend. Again, you can keep calling or texting us 573-875-KTGR here on the Big Show to play, fade, or eliminate with us. In the meantime, we'll get some more of your calls and texts. We'll look forward to tonight's Mizzou men's basketball game as they take on South Dakota. All after this live local sports center.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good evening, I'm Andy Humphrey. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Go to leestirecompany.com. Bo Pribula listed as questionable on last night's SEC availability report for the Mizzou-Oklahoma game this Saturday. Pribula is trying to come back from a dislocated ankle injury that he suffered 4 weeks ago. If he is not able to go, true freshman Matt Zowers will make his third consecutive start at quarterback. Updates to that availability report will come tonight, tomorrow night, and 90 minutes before kickoff. Mizzou-Oklahoma kicks off at 11 a.m. on Saturday. You can hear it on KTGR. Coverage begins at 8 a.m. with the Yingling Tiger Game Day Show. Mizzou men's basketball plays tonight to finish out the Hoops doubleheader at Mizzou Arena. Tigers take on South Dakota, looking to remain unbeaten. Honor Boateng expected to make his season debut for the Tigers. The sophomore has missed the last 5 games due to injury. Tip-off at 7. Pre-game at 6:30 right here on KTGR. Earlier today, Mizzou women's basketball lost to Troy 100-82. Tigers fall to 4-2 on the season. Next game is in Orlando, Florida. They'll take on Washington State at ESPN's Wide World of Sports. Your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast is with Shangri-La Dispensaries with 2 locations in Columbia and 1 in Jefferson City. Shangri-La Dispensaries is paradise found. ShangriLaDispensaries.com.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking a chilly night as temperatures remain in the low 50s. We'll see mostly cloudy skies and rain trying to move in from the south. It continues overnight into Friday. Expect soggy conditions throughout the day with temperatures in the mid to upper 50s. As we get into Friday night, rain moves to the east, but clouds look to linger into Saturday morning. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
High school hoops.
Switches on the crossover, Euro step inside, high off the glass and in.
At its best.
Catch it on the left wing, turns around and knocks down the 3.
KTGR is your home for the best high school basketball matchups in Columbia. Follow the QBs, Bruins, Spartans, and Trailblazers all season long on KTGR's High School Hoops Game of the Week. See the full list of game broadcasts on KTGR.com and listen on the go with a free KTGR app. High school basketball lives here on your total sports station, KTGR.
College football is all about the next generation. Fresh talent, big plays, new energy every season. That's the same approach behind Flight by Yingling. It's brewed by the oldest brewery in America, but built for today. Just 2.6 carbs and 95 calories with real beer flavor that keeps up from kickoff to the post-game recap. So whether you're tailgating or celebrating a win, make Flight your go-to. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
You put in the fitness work, but just aren't seeing the results. In this month's issue of Inside Columbia magazine, learn how to be better able to meet your goals. Read about a brand new deli that really has Columbia chirping. And if you're looking for a new food spot or would like to see how an old favorite is faring, check out our lineup of best tastes in the dining guide. It's all Inside Columbia magazine. Get your copy today at break time convenience stores or have it delivered at InsideColumbia.net.
It was 2:30 on a Tuesday when the phone rang. Brian Ware Plumbing answered the call. It was a dismayed wife. Fresh off vacation, her and her hubby came home to a wrecked water heater. It had sprung a leak. A bad one. So while the plumbing team took care of that leaky water heater, Brian's certified restoration guide, Josh, with 2 decades of experience, came in to restore the area and stop mold in its tracks. Another day, another job, another expert added to the team. Ho-hum. Better call Brian and unplug your plumbing problems. BrianWarePlumbing.com.
When it comes to tree care, knowledge matters. And Advanced Tree Solutions doesn't just cut, they care, educate, communicate, and protect the health of your trees. From pruning to removal to planting, their expertise goes beyond the surface. They're known for properly planting trees, removing burlap and wire cages from the root ball to ensure long-term growth and strength. With expert service and yearly discounts, your trees are in good hands. Call Eric at Advanced Tree Solutions, your tree's best friend. AdvancedTreeSolutionsLLC.com.
You're not the kind to make a nice little snow angel when the snow falls. You mark your territory in a different way. With a lemonade autograph. But when others tinkle their title in your business parking lot, you get peed off. Thanks a lot, Chad. Nice cursive work, though. Good for you, Tina. Tina? Wait a minute. Get rid of the snow graffiti with Crutch's Custom Exteriors commercial snow removal. Call Crutch's and get a quote today. Seriously, though, Tina, that's impressive.
Sons of insects! I am Bart the bedbug. But Bart the bedbug stands 5 millimeters tall. So I've heard. I've also heard he bites humans by the hundreds. And if he were here, he'd wreak havoc amongst the bed sheets. I am Bart the bedbug. And I see a whole army of ants and rodents, spiders and bedbugs here, in defiance of those who walk upon 2 legs. You've come to invade as free bugs, and free bugs you are. What would you do without freedom? Will you invade?
Invade? No, we'll scurry off and live.
Aye, scurry and you'll live, but dying in your nests many days from now. Would you trade all those days for one chance? Just one chance to come back here and tell the humans that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom! Oh, is that Steve's? Never mind. Scurry!
I'm Steve with Steve's Pest Control. We will eliminate your pest problem and stop the fall pest invasion. I guarantee it.
Steve's Pest Control. If it's Mizzou sports, it's happening here. Now, back to the big show on KTGR.
Getting set for a lot this weekend here on the big show, KTGR. Hey, hope you come by the Deuce Pub and Pit for the Mizzou Oklahoma game this Saturday at 11 a.m. You can hang out, watch the game with us at the Deuce Pub and Pit. Powered by Yingling also. There'll be a person from Yingling there giving out some Yingling, so that'll be nice. And you can come by, have a chance for some Mizzou basketball tickets as well, and maybe even a KTGR t-shirt. So come on by, get all the details over at our KTGR app. You can RSVP. You can also find some details on Facebook. So come by our football watch parties at the Deuce Pub and Pit with Flight by Yingling and your total sports station, KTGR. Brenden, this was a very interesting tweet from Matt Zenitz. Not the one that maybe we're all looking for when it comes to.
Yeah, I was going to say, my heart just skipped a beat
No,
when you said that, but okay.
Started with something else.
Stand down.
This from Matt Zenitz about 20 minutes ago. If/when Lane Kiffin is hired as LSU's head coach, LSU is open to former Tigers head coach Ed Orgeron being part of Kiffin's staff. Sources told CBS Sports Kiffin and Orgeron have a long-standing relationship, which would be fine. And That's not necessarily the part that I'm focusing on.
The if when.
the amount of heavy lifting that the word when is doing in that sentence is what I am wondering about.
You could just say if.
Yeah.
Right? If
right?
it's really like as up in the air as we all feel it is.
Exactly.
I could just say if.
But he decided to say if/when.
I think he's leaning in a little bit to the silliness of the time. Because like still it's not wrong to say if when. He's just saying like, yeah, I guess he could have left it at if. I really can't defend it. I think he's just leaning into the silliness of the time. That's my takeaway.
That's all that is. Ed Orgeron, by the way, on the record as being interested in the LSU job should they offer it to him.
I bet he is.
He was on.
I'm interested in it too.
He was on our morning show on Sportsman Lake. I can't remember how many weeks ago, but it straight up asked him like, "Hey, if LSU offered you the job, would you take it?" And be like, "Heck yes, I'd jump in my truck right now."
He would.
He would.
He would. And look, he wasn't let go for performance, I don't believe, right? That was some hairy business that he was involved in. I think that was the case.
It was an odd press conference. All I remember from the press conference was that they Ed Orgeron and the AD were both at the podium, and then they're done, and then they like kind of shake hands, which was like this. It made for this like flash frame that lived on for quite a few months after that.
Huh.
I don't know. It was kind of an awkward exit. I don't know if there was like wrongdoing involved, but he also wasn't like they weren't doing all that well at the time. So I think that was that involved too. But
yeah, there was some off the field stuff though, for sure.
It was only like a few years after the national championship year, if
right.
that. So
yeah,
it's quickly how those things can turn. But yes, we will wait for the coaching carousel to really start spinning. I would assume within the next couple of weeks. So
yeah, I mean it's spinning now. It's gonna be time for finding out what everything's going to be really right after the final regular season weekend, right? Like at that point, things are going to start moving, and I would think fast.
If/when, my goodness,
that's something. And that's our Pribula guy too, though. So I don't know if
I don't. Yeah, could be him. Could
if he's right on this, is he right on both? I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
If/when Bo Pribula plays, I don't know.
That would be
something
sick.
like that would be interesting.
I need him actually, I'm probably going to tweet this myself. I'm going to go find his tweet. I think this is clever. Workshopping the tweets on the air is always good.
Yeah.
Finding the if. There it is. If/when Bo Pribula starts this week, Ahmad Hardy will still need a crap ton of touches.
There you go. Exactly the same. According to my sources.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I believe. Or what I'm being told.
KTGR sources indicate.
Yes. Oh, man. All right. So tonight, Mizzou men's basketball plays, let's see, South Dakota. Wanted to check the notes there real quick.
That's correct.
All right, cool. Projected by KenPom to win by 25 tonight. South Dakota is number 275 in the KenPom ratings. Mizzou is 33.
The spread was 25.5 earlier today. I lean on the South Dakota side of that spread after the way Mizzou finished its last game. I don't know that I want to be sitting there holding a Mizzou minus 25.5 ticket, hoping that they can keep the momentum going for the final 6 minutes of a game.
I can understand that. To that, I will say South Dakota is just bad defensively, just straight up.
Prairie View A&M was bad defensively,
but
though.
South Dakota's worse according to these numbers. So I mean,
I think that's only because of the Mizzou game. Like Prairie View was in the 300s in defensive efficiency before the Mizzou game, and then they jumped up a little bit. Now they're 284
after giving up 91.
I'm just telling you what it is. They were They were like 3-0 something on KenPom's defensive rating, which is like adjusted defensive efficiency. And South Dakota is bad for sure.
Like they're projected to give up 97 tonight. That's a lot.
Yeah, and I think the team total for Mizzou in jurisdictions was like 99.5. But the reason that this is going to be so fun is because South Dakota's adjusted tempo is 22.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so another up and down type.
Even more so than like the Prairie View A&M game was supposed to be, which really, I don't know. Mizzou is a little too disjointed to quite get it there. The over-under is like 173.5 or something, 172.5. It's a big over-under. I think that this ends up being probably the game I thought Prairie View A&M was going to be, where Mizzou maybe gets to 100, but they might still give up 76 or something like that. South Dakota has not scored fewer than 76 points in a game this year in that game against Creighton, and they only lost to Creighton by 16. And Creighton does not play fast like Mizzou is happy to do. So
they were able to speed up Creighton enough to where
they
could get enough points. Yeah, so that's fair. I mean, it's a tough number to cover, no doubt. But I think offensively, Mizzou will very much have its way, and that can just lead to, run out. That can lead to turnovers. That's stop some offensive momentum for South Dakota, and then it just steamrolls. But I'll say, I'm gonna believe Dennis Gates. I'm gonna believe that Honor Boateng does play tonight.
Yeah, over under 7.5 minutes. Over under. Good line.
That is a good line.
Thank you.
Well done. I'll say over. I'll say he gets to 8.
I think he
9.
gets 8 minutes.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. I'll say Mizzou wins 94-69.
Nice prediction there. 25 would be the margin on that. So even you think they might fall a little bit short of the spread. I'll go Mizzou 98, South Dakota 76.
Okay. So that's a 22-point win.
Yep.
Either way, I think we both think that they will win comfortably
Bounce
tonight.
back, finish strong, do the whole game this time.
So,
Score 100 if you can.
So tune in tonight starting at 6:30. Tip off at 7 o'clock for Mizzou and South Dakota Hoops. We're back at 4 o'clock tomorrow. He's Brenden. I'm Andy. We're done for now.
Hey, Lenny,